I hope that you're doing well. In this video, I'm going to be talking about nature versus nurture. So, in this thought process, I actually used to think about this because I took a year of psychology. At some point, I wanted to be a psychologist. So, I took some modules in psychology, and one of the most fundamental questions in terms of psychology, which might be spiritual psychology, emotional psychology, or physiological psychology, or mental psychology. So all of these are important and different. So in that practice or in that study, one of the most fundamental questions is nature versus nurture. This is sort of like which came first, the chicken or the egg? Which one is more important? Which one holds more weight? Which one do we need to cultivate more? Which one is more important? Like how you're brought up, how you react to situations, what you actually want to get out of every situation, and how you tend to envision your situations and affect the situations around you is how you get about to questioning nature in terms of things that are naturally occurring, and nurture in terms of things that are in the environment which influence your thought process, your thought patterns, and your thought habits. So nature is very important, and so is nurture, because a person who grows up in a certain environment is bound to have certain characteristics because of the way that our minds are affected, because everything that happens is not happening to our eyes, it's not happening to our hands, it's actually happening to our minds. So the sooner we realize the power of a person's mind is the sooner we get to grasp the strength of a person's heart, because nature and nurture are like heart and mind. So which one is more important, the heart or the mind? So guard your heart with all diligence, from thereof spring all of the issues of life. So the heart is the first organism in your body that creates everything else. When we want to determine life, we determine a heartbeat. And whenever a baby is born, the heart actually literally beats in the head. So H-E-A for head and heart, so they're the same root, but the root of it is heart. And when you take the H in heart and put it at the end, you have earth. So the heart is the earth. So the heart is where we are planted, and this affects everything in this earth. The heart is the earth. The earth is the nature. So nature is the heart, and nurture is the mind. So the mind is the secondary faculty that helps you to relate with everything in nature. It helps you to see all of the natural phenomenon, helps you to appraise them, and to be able to evaluate the correct things to do in order to get a certain result. This is nurturing. So nature versus nurture is the same as the heart versus the mind. Is the same as the earth versus the ether. Okay, so you need there to be a sky in order for you to have the ground. So what I'm saying is that whenever you have this conundrum of heart and mind, soul and body, thought or action, all of these are grounded in a heart, and the heart is the actual earth, which is natural. So to have nature is to say something is something that's natural. It's something that just is. It's just something that just occurs. Something that just is. This is existence itself. Existence is natural. The universe is cosmological, but the universe is natural. Everything just is. And when we have nature, we have a becoming. Everything is becoming something. Someone is nurtured to do something. Someone is cultivated, just like you do in the actual nature. You cultivate the ground, you cultivate a person. To cultivate is to nurture a person. And what you have to cultivate is the actual ground. So what grounds the person is the actual ground. So knowing this is heart and mind is very key in unlocking all of the problems that you might actually have, because this is the atmosphere or the environment where every problem that you've ever had or every issue that you are facing is rooted. So understanding nature and nurture is to understand the causes and the effects, or the causes of the causes, in other words. And when you have the causes of the causes, then you're able to choose the effects that you want to have in your life. Because today I place before you life and death, right? So this is what God was saying, that you have to choose. And the only power we have is the power of the tongue. So you choose with your words, you choose with your mind, you choose with your actions. So all of these are becoming. So you actually nurture your decisions. So if you're in a bad spot right now, it's because you've naturally nurtured certain things to appear in your environment. So if you want to change your environment, you have to change your nature. So nature is filled with habits and habitats. So every animal has a habitat. Every animal, every mammal has a habit. So all of these habitat inhibit. So when you have a problem that you're constantly facing, it's because it's inhibiting you, or it's inhabiting a certain aspect of your life. So its inhibition is what causes you to procrastinate, is what causes you to fear, what causes you to doubt, because it is a habit. It is where you're at. It is where your state of mind is at, because it's all heart and head. So the habitat is the habit, which is the nurturing. So you nurture your animals in a habitat. So you nurture your life with your habits. So the ground on which you cultivate these habits is your heart, which is the earth. So this is the nature. So on this nature, or in your heart, is where all of the issues of life are. So nature is the heart, nurture is the mind. So you have to understand that both of these are causes of causes. So you are actually accessing causes of causes, which means you're accessing higher powers. This is where all of the higher powers are, to actually know that your actions are in line with the nature of God, with the nature of the universe, with the nature of everything. Because through our experience in life, we're gaining the knowledge, we're gaining the footing and the actual understanding of natural phenomenon, of nurturing phenomenon. And all of this is being fruitful and multiplying. God said, just go do the natural thing, be fruitful and multiply, just like what nature does. It's fruitful and it multiplies. So if there were no humans in the earth right now, everywhere that we're sitting, or that you're sitting right now or standing, would be a place where there would be something like a tree, a bush, a shrub, or something, because this is the natural phenomenon. Everything in nature just multiplies. Everything in nature is fruitful. So this is the natural way. And through this, we have these thought processes. So understanding the function of the mind is also understanding the temperaments. Just like how everything in nature is dependent upon certain temperatures, certain climates, and certain weather conditions. So you also need to understand that everything in nature is grounded on what we call humidity. So humidity is the state of moisture, or the state of water. So water is what is naturally occurring to everything. Okay, so I talk a little bit about this in a video about African spirituality, and through this you understand the aspect of water. And this water is the element of life. So there are 4 elements that we are ascribed to life, and right now we're talking about the 5th element, which is the ether, which is the causes of the causes. But then right now we're talking about the 4 elements, which you find in African spirituality, which is the 3rd dimension accessing the 4th dimension, with the 4 elements, which is earth, wind, fire, and air. So the water is basic to everyone's survival, because when we're looking at every story about how people came to be in this earth, how we populated the earth, and how the origins of mankind. We always say that there was a certain water body, primordial soup, some sludge, some goop, and then everyone came out of that. The African creation story tells you that there was a man who was in the sea. We come from the water, and then he came out. This is just like that evolution story. Everyone is created because they are in the water sac of the mother until the water breaks, and then they break free. But then, like, this is also how the story of Adam and Eve started. It started with this water, and the Spirit of God hovered over the water, and through this water, everything came to be. And right now, our actual bodies are 70 to 90% just water. So water is basic. So if we're saying that we're finding life on another planet, what we're actually finding is water. If we're saying that there used to be life on this planet, we're just saying that there is water, so something must have emerged from it, because water is basic to life. And through this understanding, we have the understanding of the element. And this element of water is natural. The natural phenomenon, which is something that you naturally have to ingest to drink. This is the actual nectar of life. Like, I can't put it any other way. Water is the nectar of life. Water is the nectar of life. Water is the nectar of life. Like, water is the nectar of life. And through drinking water, you should realize that your water and everything that you do and say to water actually has a memory, because water has an actual structure, which is like a computer. This computer is embedded with this information. Whatever you say or do to water stays in the water. This is why Jesus is the water of life. This is why everything comes from the water of life. So there was water of life, and that is that. So this is where all of the information is stored, because we are just water. So all of the information in our minds is water-based information. And this is power, because water forms currents, which are currencies. And this is affected by the moon, which is a reflection of the sun. And this is water. This is water. And the moon is actually what the first man is, which is a man, moon man. And then through this, we have where people come from, which is the cycle of the moon, or the cycle of the woman, or the cycle of the womb. The womb is the moon. So this is water. Okay, water is the moon. Water is in the galaxies. Water is the actual moon. So through this, we have the natural phenomenon of water, what you should drink. Like you drink water with your mouth. You also drink it with your body. Like, your body has these pores just for water, so that you can actually ingest this water. Your body is actually a membrane, which means memory brain, because your body is your brain. This skin is the membrane. So skin thinks. The skin thinks for you. This is the membrane, your original membrane. And through your skin, you get all of the information, because the sunlight has all of the information. The moon has all of the information. The stars has all of the information. The water directly has all of the information. And so does the heat, okay? And so does the air. All of this comes into your body through your membrane, or your memory brain. This is where we get all of the elements. So all of these elements are part of African spirituality and how they understood the world. And through this understanding, this is what we still have, even in all religions, because all is all. So yeah. So when we're talking about water, what we have is this natural substance, and these are forming the four elements. And through this, we have a natural understanding of our nurturing, because through what we do and how we actually react to phenomenon that is around us, we see how we have developed and how we get all of our understanding. Because it is because we understand our own basis, is that our own origin is through the water of life, which is pumped through our heart, which is the earth. Because all of the water in the world comes to the earth, it comes to the heart. All of the water in our body is pumped by the heart. So in our heart is where the seat of God is. This is the heart. This is your waters. This is the four rivers that were surrounding the Garden of Eden. This is the heart. the four rivers, which are the four compartments of your heart, which is your actual garden. And when we fall from grace, this is where it happened. It's a paradigm shift. So you have to understand that this paradise was a paradigm, and we had a paradigm shift. So a paradigm shift is something that you should be clear with, because it's a paradigm shift. This is what paradise was all about. So through this, we just have our nature, and what affects our nature is what also impacts our minds. So what affects our nature or our hearts is what impacts our actions or all of our senses. So we have seen that now things are different with the way that people react to things happening in the world, and how they react to these things through their actions. So it's always the most important thing to keep a strong heart and a strong mind, so that through anything that is happening, you realize that life is natural, and everything that you have to learn is natural to you, because you have occurred in this world naturally. So living natural is being being native, going to your natal roots, which is appreciating your family. This is the natural thing for anyone to do, because natural is native, natural is natal. So you appreciate the natal, even the prenatal people, the people who were before your nativity in this world. This is natural. And when you understand nature, you're understanding the things that are natural, which is making love. Because everyone naturally comes through, naturally is natal, because people make love, and then that person is the natural occurrence of love. So when you understand that making love or love making is all there is, be fruitful and multiply. Just do the natural thing. Just show love. Don't give hate. That is everything there is, because the natural phenomenon was the love phenomenon, which gave you all of the power that you have in this world, and everything that you have is a factor of the power of the spirit of love in whatever shape, form, or fashion. This is why love is powerful. So when you have this natural understanding and a natural way of being, understanding in your heart, being in your mind. When you have this natural understanding and nurturing being, or nurturing becoming, this is where the human being is, the human being nurtured in nature. So God just put you in this natural place so that you can nurture what you will become. So the natural becomingness of everyone is love. This is the fruit of the womb, fruitfulness. And through this, we get everything in nature. So nature and nurture is heart and mind. Nature is love, and nurture is love. So all of the things in this world are just love. And this is the understanding of life in terms of what Jesus said. There are only two commandments. Love God, right? And love your neighbor as you love yourself. It's all about love. You cannot be a natural person who does not love yourself. This is not to say that you're supposed to be narcissistic, but loving yourself is natural. Loving your neighbor is natural. Loving God is natural. So just be natural. And you see that the world will just move to a different tune, because this is just a natural song. Life is a natural rhythm, the natural rhythm. So it's not as hard as it is made to be, because the people who want to disturb nature are the people who run this world, because they do not want it to be organic or natural. Organic means the body organs. So this is what we are supposed to be doing, organizing, like an organization. So this has happened because we are not organic anymore. We are not a single organ. Like we're not able to orchestrate anything. We're not able, because it has been orchestrated against us by organizations. So yeah, this is what this world has come to. It's no longer natural. So instead of it being like a paradise, a forest, it's now like a garden where people are just growing greens, right? The cheddar. But it's now a garden, and a garden is not natural. Even though it grows things organically, organizations, but nature is rough and rugged, but you don't need to do anything to it. If you leave your the place where you are right now, like if everyone leaves that city, naturally the nature will be fruitful and it will multiply there. But if you grow a garden and everyone leaves the city, like everyone has a garden and everyone leaves the gardens, these gardens will naturally erode, but nature will naturally dominate. So this is it. And nature is also scary because it's the natural domination. That's our natural dominion. So this is the kingdom. It's actually a kingdom, a natural kingdom that we're supposed to be living in, a natural paradise, a natural kingdom. But unnatural things are now happening, organic, organized, even though what we're supposed to be doing is organizing, because there are two types of legal people. There's an organic person and there's a legal person. All of these have organs, right? All of these are organized, but one is real, one is fake. So this is black and white. You have to watch black and white in order to understand that. There's white light, there's black light. So understanding that, which is which, this is what it is. So thank you a lot for watching this. I just hope that you can get some of my material in the videos below if you're into that. And other than that, I'll see you. Peace out.